Hello everyone, welcome to my visual demonstration for the first exercise, and that comes under the System Development Laboratory series. The first exercise that I'm about to show you here is about the requirements elicitation, and this is the requirements elicitation for an e-commerce application system. So moving on further as to what one would like to define what is requirements. Requirements requirements means that you are mentioning as to if you're the customer and you want desired system, be it a software or a web application software in its desired form, in its structure, as per your specifications. And when you're telling this to the engineers who are the software developers, all they have to do is to jot down the requirements needed for developing and evaluating whatever is necessary for that system to be built and implemented. So going further with what exactly is requirements. Requirements is the first phase of any software development lifecycle model that you see. The first step before going forward into developing a software system or any system for that matter is the requirements phase. Requirements phase help you to gather and jot down the requirements as to what a client needs in his software system that is to be implemented. Now, narrowing down to what exactly requirements is, we or simply we can call, and this requirements phase is also known as requirements elicitation. So that's what it is. And requirements elicitation is one of that deeper process that is involved in requirements engineering. So, requirements has its two classifications. One is the functional requirements, and the second is the non-functional requirements. Functional requirements are those which are those statements of that system which tells us as to how that system reacts to the inputs that it has and how it should behave. Simply put, they just only give you the outline or the only what is needed or only what is the app feature of that system alone, not the internal working or the internal process of what that system is doing. That is known as a functional requirement. Non-functional requirements are those constraints on the services or functions offered by that system. They only explain as to what is happening behind the scene of that system, and they speak about the features of non-functional requirements, like that of the performance, the quality, the reliability, and the other internal and more deeper understanding of how that system works, and its flow of control, how the flow is distributed, where does the data flow in it. So all these are just spoken verbally and also written down together along with the functional requirements. All these constitute together and requirements elicitation, and they are produced in one document, and that contains both functional and non-functional requirements for the client's reference. Please note that if in a requirements elicitation process, if there are more and more requirements coming in by the clients, or sorting out the unusual requirements, be it functional or non-functional or both, this is a debatable phase that occurs, and it takes a lot of iterative processes in between it. And once when this process iterates by itself, there are a lot of errors, there are a lot of corrections to be done, and the iteration will end by itself by final verification methods. So that's what you see in a requirements elicitation phase. So moving on, the scenario described here is for an e-commerce application system. So e-commerce application system is one where the customer has its login credentials, his account credentials, and that's where he signs in or logs in to that website into his account, and then searches for that product that he needs and purchases it online. And he can purchase it by paying through his credit card or debit card, or by net banking, or even there could be an option for not paying it online, so that the delivery guy would just come to his doorstep, and you can just hand over the cash in hand. That's it. I mean, it's cash on delivery. That's what we see nowadays. You have that option for example websites like Amazon.com, Flipkart, Infobeam, and many more other e-commerce websites. So this is what it is. So without further ado, I'll just go on forward with the functional requirements in the requirements elicitation process for an e-commerce application system. So here we have the functional requirements, and the functional requirements, in short, as to how I can just shoot it to you in its shorter points, is that the first functional requirement that he needs is more of like a user account, so that he can log in and log out of his using his credentials in that e-commerce website. Second thing that he requires is an intuitive user interface, so that he can browse through the website for that specific product that he wants, and it can be done by sorting methods and filtering methods, those kind of options, as in he can narrow it down with he can be economical in choosing a mobile phone that is in the range 1,000 to 9,000 rupees. So that option can be there. It can be done through navigation, sliders and checkboxes. So this is what you see in a user interface. So the second thing is an intuitive user interface. Third functional requirement is it should have a virtual shopping cart, so that he can monitor the number of items that he has put in it, and what exactly is that item that he has put in his shopping cart before making the final purchase. The fourth functional requirement is that he needs certain not communication. I mean, he needs a payment gateway. He needs a guided web flow, for that matter, for checkout process, like confirming and editing his billing address, his contact details, and the shipping address, as to where the product that he has purchased need to be delivered. That too, and next he should be redirected to another web page that shows the payment gateway, and there he can just type in his credit card credentials, his credit card details, his debit card details, and his password, and that way the money gets deducted from his account. So the communication happens from the e-commerce website, and that too of a bank server, a merchant server and a bank server, and in turn for the final message that will be notified through an email or by SMSs to the customer itself. So that is the fifth requirement. So he can have a notification process over here in this same application system via email and SMS alerts on his mobile phone. Moving on with the non-functional requirements for this system is that the system can be managed on cloud servers located in different locations of a country, so that because there are many users who are accessing the e-commerce website, there will be lots and lots of user requests coming through while browsing that website for products and also making purchases instantly at that moment. So you need to install servers at every location, just so that the user there will be a user faster computing and a user agility and a process agility for faster faster computing. It's much more fast enough for the e-commerce to do its process behind the scene. So that's the first non-functional requirement. And the quality and the reliability factor can be considered in the system where a user interface is more intuitive. As I told you in the beginning, in the functional requirements, more agnostic, more attractive, more intuitive enough. That way it ensures quality for using a website so good as this one that is going to be developed. That is the ambition of having a good e-commerce website, and having jotted that down as one feature in the requirements elicitation document. The third requirement here is the ease of use that can be ensured. So the ease of use, the customer can change his settings for getting various notification via emails or SMSs. If it disturbs him, he can stop receiving the notifications from time to time. So that can be ensured even by, and if he needs any help regarding purchasing, he can even contact customer care service. So all these are incorporated in the ease of use for using that software system. So that is one of the non-functional requirements. The last one is the portability, because as obvious that it may seem, it's a website that you're accessing anywhere in the world. You're via World Wide Web. It's a website, so that website is accessible in another location. So that way it's virtually portable. It ensures portability, and that suits its appropriateness in its non-functional requirements. So there we have it. Putting functional and non-functional requirements together constitute a requirements elicitation document. So in a practical sense, the output is considered to be a requirements engineering document having a list of the functional and the non-functional requirements, and there are domain requirements. It's much more beyond the scope of this of whatever it is that I'm telling you right now in the requirements elicitation process. There's domain requirements, much more than that. There are a lot of classifications under it. That's how in its practical sense it looks like an output that I have to show you in this first exercise. So there we have it. All I can now, to conclude with this video demonstration, I would like to say that the requirements elicitation for this scenario has been further explained within its iterative errors. That means, there were a lot to finalize on for the functional requirements and the non-functional requirements apt for this software system, for this e-commerce application system to be developed and implemented. So it has been further explained within its iterative errors, corrections, and final verifications. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll be coming soon with more visual demonstrations for the subsequent exercises. Till then, take care. Goodbye.